Welcome to the show. I'm your host Gyasi here with Doc B, LB, Fam, and V. Going to get into a conversation about this Buffalo shooting. For those who don't know, on May 14th, 2022, a mass shooting occurred in Buffalo, New York at a Tops Friendly Market store, a supermarket in the Kingsley neighborhood on the eastern side of the city. 10 people were killed and 3 others were injured. 11 of the victims were black. The shooter live streamed the attack on Twitch. The accused, identified as 18-year-old Peyton S. Gendron, was taken into custody and charged with first-degree murder. Now, today, I just want to get into, any thoughts we have of the senseless shooting, gun control laws, what those mean for black people. I think we know what they mean. um, yeah.
Right.
And
Yeah.
how the victim, most importantly to me, how he was able to be apprehended safely when black men, unarmed, almost every week end up getting killed by the police. So whoever wants to go in first, floor is yours.
I just want to know why we're gonna spend all our tax dollars sending this young man to trial. He's already guilty. We know what he's done. Why we got to continue to go through the steps of find him guilty? I don't understand that. It's just another waste of money. We're wasting taxpayers' dollars for no reason. We all know it was a hate crime. We already know what the gist of everything was. So, what
Yeah,
is it?
it's funny you say that. I've wondered about that before. Like, why? I mean, I know why, because you need something on record, right? So you have to
Yes,
go
sir.
through a process.
Was it due
But
process?
yeah, but the fact that it takes so long, because look, he's probably not gonna have trial until sometime next year, and it just I'm like, how come some of these things just don't get expedited? Because it's like there's no question he was the one who did it. So
Right.
what's the defense gonna be? He wasn't in the right state of mind, like just mental health. He didn't know what he was doing. Like, I mean, so and I know they are going with the whole mental health angle with this. But he knew what he was doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, it was very clear he had planned this out. This is guy, they reported that he had been there before and people had noticed him. They had seen him before, and people, and they suspected, this is something. When you see people looking sketchy, you need to pay attention to that. We need to be aware, like when we see folks who maybe they're not normally in this neighborhood, maybe they're not normally around here. But just I mean,
But
look,
then they
it's
be
not the same
crying. Then they be
fault.
crying about the shit we accuse them of doing, profiling us
Right.
when we go somewhere. So it's no
Right.
win there. Shit.
I've always been a person. I'm not against profiling. It's like if you want to I think it's important to profile, and
Yeah.
for your own purposes, for the individual, for you to be aware of what's around you and your surroundings. Now, there's a difference between when you just start indiscriminately acting on it or when you have the state acting on it. But I think everybody should be aware of their surroundings, and know what's around you. I don't
Yeah.
I don't have a problem with that. I know, I always think about that scene in that horrible movie. Was it Crash? Or was it Traffic?
Ludicrous.
One of those.
I think
They,
it
they
was.
run
Yeah,
the same movie. Yeah.
Ludacris and Old Dog. What's the brother name?
Lorenz Tate.
Lorenz Tate. Lorenz Tate. Yeah, they were like, "You got guns? You got guns?" And then we got guns, and they went up and they tried to rob him. And it was I think Sandra Bullock. And the whole point was that they saw them and they were concerned, but they were like, "We can't do let's not say anything about it because we don't want to profile people or what have you." And I remember that was kind of a thing they were trying to make in this movie, this whole idea. So look, you want to profile somebody and be aware of what's happening, do that. But now when you start jumping people like that girl at with Soho Karen, that's a whole nother issue.
Yeah.
But going back to just this whole tragedy that happened, I mean, this is just in a long line of lynching never stopped in this country. It's been continuing. So this is just another, lynching, long history of lynching that we've had, and people, engage in this kind of behavior. Um, and we just gotta, be aware that this stuff is still happening, and try to respond to it as much as we can. Try to figure out what we could do, and be aware of what's happening.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you have a crime against black people like that, the court system is always going to take that time with it. Seriously, man.
Yeah.
Like, unfortunately, yeah, this lynching that continues to go on, but the court system never changes, man. Especially when there's a crime against us, and this is why he was apprehended and not killed. It's a crime against black folks. So if he would have shot a bunch of white people in the supermarket, I still don't think he would have got killed.
No.
But I think they would get him to justice sooner than they are now. And they won't be claiming mental health and all this. He was crazy. He had issues with his family. He had a past that made him do something like this. But it's just the same old story, man. It's not going to stop. And especially when there's a crime against black people, the laws are not going to get changed for it. And that's just something we got to be aware of. And like you said, we have to, man, just only time that something is done was when people is protesting like crazy. When white people are getting hurt, when people show up at police officers' houses and at the judges' houses, that's when the shit gets serious, man. But to me, it's just another case of white supremacy, against us. And I don't know, man. I don't think this will be the last. I think it's the Kyle Rittenhouse effect. The Kyle Rittenhouse effect.
Yeah.
Well, where are y'all with the gun laws? I don't know exactly how they work in New York, but you're not safe anywhere now. I can't even go to the grocery store and get food for my family without, like you're saying, I have to look over my shoulder for everything. Even here in Texas, we have an open carry. You see how that's working out. You see how that's working out for us. Everybody needs a weapon. I hate guns. I hate them. I have several, but I hate them. I just hate, I have to put myself in a position where I always have to think, well, safe. I'd rather be safe than sorry. I don't want to ever be caught out without anything, and I never know who's watching me. It's just, I just want to know where y'all were with the open carry and the gun laws.
Well, I have one thing about open carry. I have tons of questions about open carry, and I was going to bring that in here, but I didn't do my research on it, and I know how deep in the weeds we get. But like you said, in Texas, we have open carry now. So I feel actually comfortable with that because I feel like if everybody thinks everybody has a gun, motherfuckers will probably be on their best behavior. You know what I'm saying? So that's the way I looked at it. Like, okay, I ain't gonna fucking around. Homeboy might be strapped. But then you also look at it's supposed to be concealed carry. So there was a night a couple weeks ago I got out to work. I only worked for like 3 hours. And I hadn't seen this all fucking years since those laws have been changed. And I saw two brothers with that hammer just swinging all loose out them damn shorts. Just all willy-nilly, not held up against anything, kind of have it securely on them now, just loose. Like I could have reached into their pocket, gone, anything. And I'm wondering what kind of games will the police play with that? Because it's supposed to be concealed carry. So when you see these young niggas out here just carrying it all loose like that, is that going to be your excuse to fire off on them now, even though the laws have changed? Because legal, they're not concealed. But I feel like that's going to be another excuse to kill brothers, honestly. I mean, I don't know how y'all feel about that, but
you got to stand your ground law to support that too.
So we do have stand your ground here?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't know we had it here. Okay.
We had stand your ground. So they can use that as a reason why they shot at somebody. Oh, I saw he had a gun. He looked dangerous. I wanted to shoot him before he shot me.
Yeah.
So I just think oh, go ahead.
No, I'm listening. Go ahead.
No, I think it's gone past open carry now. It's not. You don't even have to have a CDL, a permit to have a gun.
Right.
You just buy one. Yeah, and just have one. And for me, I'm always thinking about the deeper reason why they do that. It's just not for protection. I think it's past that. I think they just want to take it back to the wild, wild west, man. I think they just want white folks to be more comfortable, have more reasons to shoot anybody they want, especially us, and have more reasons to lock us up.
Right.
But I don't agree with not having a permit because some of these people pull that gun out too soon and they don't have any training on how to use the gun, when to use
They
the
don't
gun.
even know how to secure it, man. Dude.
Exactly.
You said
And,
you said the key. You said the key word right then. The proper training on when and where and how you can be able to get. You don't ever supposed to pull your weapon. When you pull your weapon, you're supposed to feel you're shooting to kill.
Right.
You're
Yeah.
not just
Right.
shooting to wound somebody. You know, when you
that's what they
pull your
said.
weapon, right?
Yeah.
So when you have that, but I think it gives some people just a false sense of hope. Just because I have it, I feel better around it. Like I say, I don't like them to the simple point. I know some bad people. I know they don't need a pistol. They got a
Yeah.
pistol though. Their mentality's not right. Even how
Right.
they're rational about how they've never had anything what we call mental illness, but everybody knows they're mentally ill. Something is wrong with you. if
Yeah.
if
Right.
you go, if you go from 0 to 10, and we're all around the same age, if somebody can piss you off to that level all the time, no, no, you should never be able to carry anything like
Right.
that.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's just that's
And
just
that's
my
why,
stance on it.
yeah, that's why you
Yeah.
need the background checks. So everybody don't need to have a gun.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? Just simply because you're a threat, just because you are mentally ill or whatever, have mental challenges or whatever. And that gun gives people a false sense of confidence,
Power.
Right.
and that's the problem. When you don't have a gun, you're not willing to fight as quick. But when you got that gun, you think you
You
got the
fight
power.
everybody.
You fighting
Right.
anybody.
Right. And I know that's why my dad talked. He said he stopped carrying his gun. Because my dad's from our family's from Panama. So my dad came to America in the '60s, and he joined the military, what have you. Once he left, my folks settled in Dallas. So one of the things my dad likes to do is camp. He likes to go camping. He likes to fish. So he immediately bought a rifle, and he had a truck. He used to have a rifle. You could have the rifle stands in your truck, and that's for long. That's been legal in Texas for forever, for a long time.
Yes,
Even
sir.
before open carry or concealed carry even existed, you could have rifles in your truck. You just had to have like a little stand. And so, he's carrying around a rifle and everything because he used to talk about how, yeah, I mean, this is like the 60s, 70s. He was aware enough. I mean, he experienced, when he went into the military, racism in the military. So he was very aware of what he was doing and where he was going. But one of the things he talked about, like fast forward to the future when they had concealed carry, is that because back then, if he was fishing, the rifle would stay in the truck. Unless he went like hunting or whatever, the rifle, he wouldn't take a rifle when he's in the water, in a boat or on the just fishing. He would usually keep it in the truck. But with the concealed carry, he started carrying it with him. And he just said he talked about how, yeah, there was this one incident where he was went to this a fishing hole somewhere in the Dallas suburbs, in the area where I mean he was saying it's developed. I'm not exactly sure what it was, but it's developed now. But at the time it wasn't developed, and he was going there to fish.
One
It
in
was like one of
Frisco.
his best kept secrets. Yeah, I think it was something like, yeah, I think it was
I think it was
Frisco.
Frisco. When you tell, I think we determined it was Frisco. Yeah.
Yeah. And so he was there, fishing, and some white guys, they came over and they were, you know, you got all these little rules with fishermen, like if you see me fishing here, you move down there. You don't crowd because you could disturb my fishing. And they were following those rules, and so I think something happened. There were some words exchanged, and he said he noticed it in himself. Like he was like very verbose and like really just like, what's up, and they backed down and went somewhere. But then he just thought to himself, the only reason why he was like that is because he had his gun on him, because it was two
Yeah.
guys.
Yeah.
And so he was like, I got my gun on me, I could do this. So he said after that he stopped carrying his gun around. with him. He was like, I'm not carrying it with me because that right there, just that extra confidence could have led me to get into an altercation that didn't need to happen. Because sometimes you just let things go and just kind of move on. But when you have that extra confidence with you with that gun, sometimes you don't want to do it. You just want to like, yeah, what's up? so, um, so I know that's one of the issues with concealed carry. But I wanted to say something real quick about just going back to the Buffalo thing because I don't know if that's necessarily the answer. Just concealed carry. I mean, because I think it always goes back to like, how did this kid get all these guns? Like, because he was pretty young, and I mean, he had issues. So it's like, how is he getting all these guns? And
Well, I
so,
think
I think that's just something we got to look at, and every jurisdiction is different. I mean, I'm in DC, so DC,
Excuse me.
very restrictive when it comes to gun laws and everything. It's not like Texas. So it's a very different situation wherever you are. And I don't know what Buffalo's like, but I'm assuming Buffalo may have been a little bit more less restrictive than it is here, but maybe not as
I
restrictive
thought
as it
New
is.
York you couldn't have a weapon. I thought New York at the most you couldn't have a weapon. You couldn't carry a
Yeah,
weapon.
See,
I
I wasn't sure
always
if that
thought
was
that.
city or
That's,
state.
that's probably a city. Because see, that's the thing
Yeah,
about New York. Once you get out of New York City, you got a pretty
country,
especially like upstate, pretty
Buffalo, yeah,
conservative. Yeah,
Alabama of
people
the
always
north.
think right. People always think of New York being just so liberal, and it's like no, that's New York City, and maybe some of the areas around New York City. But when you start getting into the upstate New York and the Buffaloes and all that kind of stuff, no, it changes.
Yeah.
Hmm. Well, I think someone gave him the gun. Obviously, he's 18 years old. He doesn't even have the money to afford that type of weapon,
Well,
unless he saved his money up. But I think he was helped in this situation.
Yeah,
he purchased on his own. Didn't that come out? They talked to the store owner. He said it was just a regular routine purchase. An 18-year
I
old
believe
coming
it.
in buying an assault rifle. It was
See,
a regular routine purchase. I
I
mean,
mean, yeah,
and if that's the way it is up there, that's just the way it is. But
yeah,
this dude had red flags, man. There was the whole issue, the little shit he said or wrote before he graduated. What were your plans after graduation? And it was something surmounting to talking about killing some folks and shit. And they
yeah,
didn't send it up the ladder like they should have. Dude, yeah,
yeah. I
it's
mean, this kid has so many red flags; it's
right.
ridiculous.
And it
I
just
mean,
went ignored, But I feel if it was one of our black asses, been like, yo, y'all need to go get that nigga.
yeah, in a
Shit.
heartbeat.
yeah,
In a
Ain't no
heartbeat.
hesitation. None.
Well, all the stuff he wrote on his gun too. He had
Yeah.
BLM nigger wrote on it. He had,
His heroes, Dylan Roof.
you see,
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. He just carrying on the work of the other shooters,
Right.
yeah,
and these guys
yeah,
are willing to risk their life for this shit, man. They willing to go to jail forever to kill some black people, man. And
yeah. I
that means
mean,
something wrong with them, man.
he because he talked about this whole great replacement theory. Um, that was like one of his fundamental things to his belief, and that great replacement theory is was one of those white nationalist far right conspiracy theories, basically suggesting that white people are being replaced. That there's a demographically white people are being replaced because one, white folks don't have as many babies. Abortion. This is why abortion is such a big issue for white people. I know black folks have an issue with abortion too, but for now, just talking about white folks, that's one of the big issues with abortion is because it goes back to a lot of this great replacement theory type these views. Um, but then in addition to that, like the foreigners, the others are moving in and replacing them. So this is a theory that really comes out of like Europe. So and the way in Europe is the idea that a lot of the white folks in Europe are being replaced by Muslims, or people from Muslim countries, um, which is happening in droves. But obviously, and it's like, well, and a lot of it's because of these Western countries always being in these Middle Eastern countries blowing stuff up, and they wonder why people migrate to their countries. I mean, what do you think's going to happen? But I bring all that up because it's just funny because in the case of Europe, I mean, that's very much it's very true. Like in the sense that a lot of those European countries are having problems with the white people in those countries giving birth and having children. You have all these issues, drug issues, etc. So there's a mortality still is big. And you
Didn't
have these
Germany give
immigrants.
recently give their people some time off to go have sex? Wasn't that like last year, or the year before?
What country?
Germany.
What country?
Am I
Germany?
pulling it?
Yeah, what country? What country?
Am I
Wait,
pulling
wait,
that
It
wait,
out
wait.
might
my
be. I'm
ass?
not sure.
Dude,
But I wouldn't be surprised because, like I said, a lot of these countries are just getting the white population is getting older and older, and they have all these immigrants moving, and those are the people who are doing that, who are having new, children. But it's very different in the United States though, because they say that and they talk about, oh, you got all these Latinos, but these Latinos, when they get here, a lot of them see themselves as white. I mean, because Latin America is a very diverse, racially diverse place, and so a lot of the ones that come here, they're white. They're checking
yeah,
off white. So yeah, they might, you know, they might consider them. They might be Latino, but as somebody would say, they're spicy Caucasians.
there you go.
So they're still, a lot of them are still white. I mean, you have black Latinos and everything, but still. So I don't know. I found it interesting that was such a that theory is such a big theory in the United States because in Europe I feel like it's different because you do have all these Muslims coming there and there's that whole Muslim traditional Muslim versus Christian, but here it's just there are a lot of white Latinos coming here, but it's not like it's not like black Latinos are replacing anybody. You know, black population is not growing that much, so
Right.
it's but his focus is on black people, so
Well,
it's really interesting.
yeah, because white folks are dying off more than they're having babies, and this is why
Right.
they trying to prevent abortion. They started that crap in like Alabama when they had that big governor run down there, and then of course Roe v. Wade is another issue because they're dying off,
Well, it's not an
and
issue now.
it ain't an issue now. But they're always going to be focused on us because I think genetically we can, you know, almost
Yeah.
better
Yeah.
their
Well, I
race.
mean, that's the word genetic. I mean, that goes back to Francis Chris Welsing and white genetic annihilation. The
Right.
fact that white people and racism stems from that white genetic annihilation, which definitely when you think about again this great replacement theory, you can see origins in that whole concept. The fact that black people's genes, um, are dominant, and so when you mix, you're going to have a more colored child. But hey, I mean, it's still like when you look at the numbers and when you look at what's happening in the United States, it's not like black people are because they talk about in 2050 it's going to be more minorities, but they're talking about Latinos, and those Latinos consider
Yeah.
themselves white. So what
Right.
really are they saying?
Well, the Latinos are not going to stand up against white supremacy like we are.
No, they aren't. They're gonna
So they're going
they're
to,
gonna continue it.
and then if white people are a minority, they can still dominate as a minority percentage, and just
Yeah.
have
Right.
the white folks and the Asians continue the white supremacy over black folks. So
If, yeah,
that's the
I
whole
mean, in
thing, is to
fact,
keep us
yeah.
down. So yeah, they're not
I,
going to worry about Latinos taking over. I think they're worried about not being the majority and that white supremacy not still being practiced. So
and
they can
and
be
that's
the
what's silly
dominant
about it.
force by being the minority, and
Yeah,
this
and
is
that's
why
what's
they're
silly
going to
about
keep
it
killing
because
black folks.
they're still gonna be dominant, even if in some way when you talk about census, there's white, non-Hispanic, black, non-Hispanic, and then Hispanic. Well, even if the white non-Hispanic becomes a minority, the white Hispanic is still going to be a majority. And as far as like socially, I mean, I think you probably still make the case that it's going to be the white non-Hispanic that's going to be dominant over everything. So all you're doing is making a new racial hierarchy, where now you're adding in this Hispanic, which sort of is the middleman, but you still have the quote unquote pure whites, the pure white non-Hispanics at the top. So I don't know. I guess in some ways this really is an issue for, like, and when you look at these things, it's usually an issue with, like, you got to think of class, like poor, maybe not, maybe those whites that aren't so well off, because I mean right now the country is messed up terribly. I mean, for people who don't have income, who are in the lower income, and so for white people this becomes an excuse. If you're poor and white, what are my problems? What are my issues? Where you have people saying, well, it's those other people who are coming here taking your, trying to replace you. And it's like, well, you never thought about, well, maybe it's like the laws that we have here that are causing you to become poor, not the people who are coming. These people aren't coming to replace you. They're, you know, I mean, they're coming to add on to your legacy, really. If you think about if somebody's replacing you, then they're going to like take over and bring their own culture, but that's not really what's happening. Usually when people come here, they assimilate to what's already here. So, yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's very true. I mean,
Before we go
but
any further, just want to
yeah,
say Vern had to drop out. I thought he was going to go on and jump in and say, "Hey, I got to go," but he didn't. But yeah, so we'll catch on next. Go ahead, Lloyd.
oh, it's all good. No, I was just saying that white people don't question the government. Some of them do, but most of the white folks here, especially the white supremacists, they don't question their government. So they're going to blame everybody else because they think this country is for them, by them, and supposed to take care of them. So they're not smart enough. The white supremacists are not smart enough to really challenge the government like that. And this is why they can continue to shoot people, get away with crime, especially against black folks, the way that they do. But there is a fear here in America that they're going to be overtaken by minorities.
Right. I do have to add an addendum to that. So I think white supremacists are critical of the government, but it's when they feel like the government doesn't represent them. So
Right.
obviously, when you're talking about, especially like far right, when they think it's like a bunch of liberal feminists, etc., running it, then they're very skeptical of everything, even though they don't even have the right information, or they just automatically have a resentment and an automatic, just sort of vehement disagreement or dislike of the government. But when it's people that look like them and talk like them, even if their policies hurt them, they don't care, because it's about white identity. And as long as you are a great advocate of the white identity, then they're okay with you. So that's Trump in a nutshell. Because you look, all these conservatives, all these conservatives, all these far right or white supremacists. Let me not try to just box me. Let me say white supremacists. All these far right white supremacists, they have obviously hated Obama. They look at President Obama, as a threat. But let's keep it real. Obama didn't threaten them. They were all like, when Obama got elected, we got to buy all the guns in the world because he's going to outlaw them. He didn't outlaw any guns. He didn't give a shit about guns.
There was a surge in gun sales when he became elected.
Right, because they think, oh, he's going to try to take them away. He didn't do anything about guns. He was like, I ain't touching that. And then, of course, like the whole healthcare thing is like, oh my God, Obamacare. It's like Obamacare was a whole ass right wing bill. It was made by their folks, the Heritage Foundation. So it's like everything they say is it's obviously is not mired in any kind of reality. It's a white identity. That's all that matters. As long as you talk and you sound like me, Trump talked and sounded like them. But his policies, in fact, he had, when he first was running, he had all these policies that sounded good, because it was like, oh, he's going to really help, the average working American. But when he got into office, he was just a typical Republican. He didn't do all that stuff he said he was going to do. You know, the only thing, I mean, hell, he didn't even build a wall. So it's like, you know,
Built a
you don't
little
have to
bit.
do
He built
anything.
a little bit, man. He got
He
a little.
built a fence. He built a little bit of a fence. Yeah. And as far as replacement, Obama deported more people than Trump. So again, like, you
Yeah, he
know,
did.
it's
Yeah, he
so it's
did.
just kind
But
of funny how they do it. Go ahead.
no, I'm just saying that Trump just spoke to the part of the country that wanted representation after Obama was in office, and then Trump really just ran for office. I think his feelings were hurt, man. Seriously, because Obama roasted him at that correspondence dinner, and that's when he
Yeah.
decided to run the
Yeah,
president.
Seth Meyers did as well. Seth Meyers had a hand in
Yeah.
that as well.
Right.
I agree with you. I think that pissed him off. He said, "I'll show them," and
Exactly.
sure enough,
It was
he
the ego.
fucking won.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. So he became president for his own personal gain, personal reasons. But anyway, going back to the shooting, man, it's just this is something we're going to continue to see. And I hate to say that, and I don't want to see it
well,
anymore.
absolutely.
But this is just something that we're going to continue to see because there's nothing going to be done about this guy. He's going to go to jail, probably. Of course, he's going to go to jail. But this is not going to stop because there's some other kid that's seen him do this. There's other people that's going to watch him continue to work.
It's on now. I mean,
I
this
don't
is a
believe it'll be
video
the only
game.
one this year.
Nah.
Oh, I agree with that too.
Y'all check the video game aspect to this because he had a camera
Yeah,
mounted on
yeah.
him, and you know he was live streaming it. I mean,
Wasn't it on Twitch?
This is
Yeah.
This is fun, man. These dudes out here, they're gonna be having fun. They like, yo, this is like playing what was that? Pokemon Go. This is some Pokemon Go, man. You know what I'm saying? You actually real life got cameras on you because I remember when I was seeing some of those images when I first saw it, and you see the gun sticking out. I was like, what is this? I mean, straight up, my mind when I saw it just thought video games, like how all that first person shooters. That's the first thing my mind went to, and I'm like, yo, man, for real, like I could see people looking at this being like, yo, I want to do this. Like, this looks like fun. So,
that video of him pointing the gun at the white guy, and he said sorry or something like that, and he kept going. That did look like a video game. It did look because all you see is the butt or the barrel of the gun.
Yeah,
and they want to become martyrs, man. They want their name to live on forever. And this is another reason why they do this stuff because they want their name to be out there. It's not so much about being freedom or I kill somebody. Like this is for their legacy, and that's scary.
Yeah,
I've never seen anything like that, man. That's scary.
Hey, real quick, I do want to throw out a correction. I was wrong about Germany. That conception day was actually in Russia. Yeah,
Russia.
So not too far, but yeah, they are worried about this. They're giving them time off. Hey, go fuck. Be fruitful. Shit. Please. We need more of y'all. Yeah. So it'll be more of that.
Yeah, it's gonna be more. Man. And this is why they're inviting these Ukrainians over too.
Yes.
Droves because they're trying to keep their numbers.
Man,
you see the Haitians are still down there in that little camp or whatever on the other side of the border. They're like, y'all gonna sweat it out, dude. It's babies out there in the heat and shit. Yeah. It's like, man, y'all ain't shit.
Man, Ukrainians do every Western nation, United States, all the European nations. They were like, please come here. We want you. Like, they were just like, yo, open the borders up. Just let them come in. We want you so bad. All y'all beautiful blue hair, blue eyes,
blonde hair,
white folks, come on in. Y'all Christian too? Oh my God, let's do it. Like
two niggas trying to escape for safety from Ukraine into Poland. No, it's too much. No, too many niggas. No. Shit. Kept them niggas on the platform forever, for 3 days, man. This shit is wild. Yeah, man.
And that's the thing, man. Refugees, man, they have sex. They procreate for whatever reason. Refugees have this. I mean, I think it's ingrained in survival. So people, they will boost your numbers,
Hmm.
and which I know this is probably a topic for another day, but that's one of the reasons like we really need to get a handle on the black community and black immigration. This whole divide between black
Man.
folks and they're based on what country they come from. Like this is the reason why in America you talk about white folks. They've always done this. They bring in other people and they acculturate them, they assimilate them to be like them. Like, hey, we're you're coming here, you got to be like us. Let's do this. You're one of us now. As long as you follow into this general pattern, you're cool. And they do that. They've been doing that not just in the United States, but all through the West, like all through the New World. America, North America, Latin America, South America. They've been doing this forever. Like bring Europeans and boost our numbers up. They intentionally have done this.
Yeah.
But now I just we look at these days and you have black folks from other places coming, and you're like, well, we don't want no immigrants. It's like, what are we talking about? These are black people. It's like, oh, but then they see themselves differently. You know what? Like maybe some of those immigrant parents when they come here see themselves differently, but I guarantee to you by the second generation, they're gonna be just like you.
Just black. Yeah.
They're just gonna be African Americans just like you. Give them a couple generations. It's gonna be all over. I guarantee it.
And you're right. This is a topic for another show because, dude, this is because we're already just minor league rabbit holing right now already. But
yeah,
dude, that part, dude, the whole divide. That's why I don't like a certain guy that you two follow. He's very much on he's very divisive within our own community, and I'm not a big fan at all.
yeah.
But
We can get into that later on, but
yes,
I do think it's related to this. Just kind of wrap up on this. It's related to the Buffalo shooting because he didn't go in there trying to shoot Nigerians. He didn't go in there trying to shoot like, oh, you from Haiti? Let's go. You're out of here. He didn't care about that. He just cared. I want to kill black people.
Right.
That's it. Done.
Skin tone check. All right, cool. You out of here. Yeah.
That's all that mattered. No, you got a non African American hairline. We didn't have none of that happening. So
Lord look confused. Lord,
you could tell.
I did it.
Supposedly, there are people who say you could tell folks from other countries by their hairlines.
Yeah,
like, oh, you ain't African American. You from West Africa because of your hairline, or
I've
stuff
never
like
heard
that.
that word.
I use the government name. I might have to go back and edit. Yeah. My bad, LB fam. Yeah, man, your boy does that. Yes, that's why I was wondering why you were looking so confused. Oh yeah, yeah.
Sir, the hairline. Yeah, that's for the guys who ain't got no barber, man.
Hey, man. But I think it's pretty much across the board. It was checking out. Like, yeah, he's not wrong.
Yeah, man.
Oh yeah, that's a whole other topic, bro. We got to get into that.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
We got to get into that. We got to
get
into that.
Well, I guess we got it covered. Is that a show? Is that it?
Hey, man,
wrapping up? We good?
I think we get some points. Yeah.
All right. Anybody got anything to plug?
Got nothing to plug. Y'all just keep stay tuned to our next show.
You got a favorite show? New hot record, man, you like, man? Nothing? We ain't got nothing to plug.
We talking about this, talking about a lot of things today. I always recommend, if y'all haven't read it, go ahead and purchase it now. The ISIS Papers by Frances Cress Welsing. Sister's no longer with us, but she's an ancestor now. But the whole topic of white genetic annihilation. I mean, we keep seeing it over and over and over again. And when she came out with this book, I believe it was back in the 80s. Very controversial. I remember her on Phil Donahue, and everybody, again, it's like, oh my God, what are you trying to say? she talked about the whole, she like broke down sports and how certain things represent certain things, and people thought it was crazy. But when you look at it now, I mean, she essentially took a very Sigmund Freud, a Freudian perspective, but looked at it from, she used their theories to analyze them essentially, but and looked at how, there's this issue where it seems like, based on white people's actions, that they are afraid of the genetic material of black people. They're afraid that they will be annihilated. And so they engage in these behaviors, lynching, cutting off testicles, things of that nature, and, sterilizing women. And she talked about this back then. And I mean, just the fact is, you keep seeing these mass shootings come up today. You keep seeing what police officers are doing. Um, you keep seeing all these different, and not just police officers, just regular people. One-on-one incidents. The thing that happened in Forney, Texas. The little kid was hitting on had a whip and was hitting
Oh,
on
word,
the
word,
black
word, word,
family's
word.
door.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And then the father, when they went to go talk to the this white child's father, he pulled out a gun and almost shot his own daughter because, like we talked before, some people don't know how to use guns and don't know how to proper etiquette with them. But
Right.
at any rate, just want to plug that book, ISIS Papers, Francis Cress Welsing. So definitely check it out if you haven't already.
Yes, sir.
All right. You ain't got nothing, Lord?
I don't have anything. I'll get better at plugging.
Did it
all
again.
right?
See, I'm gonna have to edit all this, man. I'm gonna have to try to. I'm saying, hey, I'm not using full, man. So hey, I'm not using full.
No, don't worry about it. No, I don't have anything to plug right now.
Let me go snitch on myself. Greg. There, I did to myself. There, we even.
I ain't
now.
worried about that, man. I ain't worried about that. It's all good, man.
All right, man.
All right.
Well, that's the show. We got another one in the books. I'll see you guys next Sunday if possible. To our viewers, comments will be on. I don't care how bad they get. We will not be turning comments off. So give us your best, give us your worst, and like, subscribe, all that crap. I mean, if you like what you're seeing, you know what to do, and we'll try to give you more of it. All right, so we'll see y'all next week.
Peace.
Peace.
Peace.